Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's really, really bad news for Bud Light when the heir of the Anheuser Busch company is actually going to be coming out and slamming you. Yes, that actually did happen. Billy Busch, heir to Anheuser Busch, has come out. He actually had an interview with TMZ, and he didn't hold back, man. He didn't hold back. This company's dead, man. The Anheuser Busch brand is truly dead when an heir is coming out and throwing them under the bus. I mean, this is pretty brutal, guys. Sales in a tank. There's going to be no comeback whatsoever for Anheuser Busch, Bud Light, I should actually say, to be more specific right there. You guys know that. Sales have been in the trash and they have not recovered. People are not coming back, man. This is the most effective annihilation of a company that went woke I believe we've ever seen. I already told you guys, I believe this will actually change the game going forward with other companies that want to do what Bud Light did. I mean, it's a disaster, man. A complete disaster. Bud Light right now is being pulled from shelves. Why? Because they're not selling. Nobody wants the beer. The whole Dylan Mulvaney disaster has imploded this company. And it actually started from within. And then people saw what happened. They started waking up. And they said, no, let me go out there and buy a Coors Light, Modelo Especial, some other beer. They really, really messed this one up, man. And they're not going to be able to recover from this. So let's go ahead and get into what Billy Busch actually had to say here, because he just laid it out, man. He laid it out. And I believe he was actually just being truthful here. Check this out. Anheuser Busch heir says ancestors will be rolling over in their grave over Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney ad. I'm pretty sure, guys, that his relatives who actually started this company, I mean, to even mention, back in that day, hey, there's a man out there that wants to dress up and look like a woman, identify as a woman. Why don't we go out there and do business with this person? They'd probably say, wait a minute, how is that actually going to sell beers? And back in the day, that wasn't really much of a thing, but now it is a thing. But however, even in 2023, people don't want that shoved in their face. This is identity politics run amok. Let's go ahead and read this article here on Fox News. Anheuser Busch heir Billy Busch blasted Bud Light over the controversy stemming from his brief partnership with transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney. Bud Light faced intense criticism after announcing in the spring that it was partnering with Mulvaney in a campaign aimed at inclusiveness that included Mulvaney's face on Bud Light cans. Actually, I believe it was only one can, but that was one can too many, and it turned a bunch of people off. I mean, this is a man identifying as a woman whose primary audience is children. Children, guys, they can't drink. Now, I don't know how many people actually said, you know what, that Dylan Mulvaney ad, you know what, it makes me actually want to go out there and buy Bud Light. I'm willing to bet that Bud Light got zero sales from that, because Dylan Mulvaney is not going to drive people to actually go over there and buy beer. Not going to happen. In an interview with TMZ on Friday, Busch told host Harvey Levin that he believes his ancestors would be disappointed in the Mulvaney ad campaign. Quote, I think my family, my ancestors, would have rolled over in their graves, Busch said. They believe that that transgender, gays, that sort of thing was all a very personal issue. They love this country because it was a free country and people are allowed to do what they want. But it was never meant to be on a beer can and never meant to be pushed in people's faces. Now, one thing that I always believe, at least up until the Dylan Mulvaney thing, one thing that could actually bring people together is just sitting around and having a beer. But now that's kind of thrown out the window here, because if you're actually with your friends and you pull out a Bud Light, they're probably going to make fun of you. It's become political now, and people don't want to be seen with a Bud Light because essentially, look at this here. You can see the picture right there. This is the Dylan Mulvaney can right there. When people actually see anybody having a Bud Light, this is the image that is actually ingrained into people now when they actually see a Bud Light. The TMZ host pointed out that the reason behind the ad campaign was inclusiveness, and Busch was asked about his response to the public's reaction to an Instagram post featuring Mulvaney in the can. Now, the thing is, when was beer not inclusive? Somebody got to explain that to me. When was beer ever not inclusive of people? This is something that's completely made up, guys. It is a made up narrative by the left. Beer was always inclusive. It brought people together. But anyway, this is what Busch actually said. Quote, I think people who drink beer, I think they're your common folk. I agree with that. I think they are the blue collar worker who goes and works hard every single day, Busch said. The last thing they want pushed down their throat or to be drinking a beer can with that kind of message on it, I just don't think that's what they're looking for. They want their beer to be truly American, truly patriotic, as it always has been. Truly American beer, which Bud Light was and probably isn't any longer. Yeah, exactly. When men come home from work, are they actually going to pull out a beer with like a Dylan Mulvaney advertising it? No, I don't think that Dylan Mulvaney connects with true masculine men. And true masculine men are the ones that's actually going to be drinking the beer from Bud Light. There's no connection. Men do not identify with Dylan Mulvaney, and that's a major problem right there. When pressed on why he does not believe the beer is American anymore, Busch said he does not think the audience drinking beer is into transgenders. People who drink beer care about wholesome things. That's pretty much what I just said right there, guys. That your average man is not connecting with Dylan Mulvaney. Just not. Busch added that he believes beer drinkers are into patriotism and think that certain things should be kept private. Exactly. But Levine responded that he thinks the controversy Bud Light found itself in after the ad campaign was announced and rooted in prejudice against transgender people. Quote, absolutely it's prejudice, Levine said. Look, I remember my dad telling me stories that there were bars in LA that used to have signs that said, no dogs, no Jews. So there's been a history of prejudice in the country. People get over certain things. It's happened to Jews. It's happened to black people. It's happened to gay people. And it's happening to transgender people. So to me, it is absolutely prejudice. Busch replied, quote, well, I just think prejudice against Jews and blacks and against black people, those kinds of things are a totally different deal. Yeah, and it's in the tank, man. I mean, it is completely over with for Bud Light. I mean, everybody's just mocking them. And you see what happens, guys, when you try to virtue signal? This is the kind of thing that happens. There is no recovery. I mean, you got the heir to the Anheuser Busch company that's coming out and saying that Bud Light is not American anymore. Not American anymore. Let that sink in. I mean, that is utterly amazing right there. That the heir to Anheuser Busch gets it. Gets it. There's going to be no recovery for Bud Light, guys. There's going to be none. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.